All right, let's go, because you know what I came in to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
Nobody put the crack into the pipe. Nobody made you smoke off your life.
KELL Brook addressed this situation and he apologized to the gym, his family, his friends for what he did. He didn't make no reference to the person holding the camera in a negative way, like they sold him out. But other people did, which I find hilarious, you know. KELL looked willing to play up to the camera. He snorted, he threw the combinations after. Now, unless he was secretly filmed, I retract every word I say. But he looked like he was playing up to the camera. You know, if this was a premeditated act where someone said, I'm going to go to KELL Brook's house and hopefully he's going to snort coke, and then I'm going to take the film to the Sun newspaper, the sleazy Sun newspaper, and get paid. I just don't believe it happened like that. I don't believe KELL was an innocent bystander who got played by a quote-unquote friend with no morals. No. The person doesn't have no morals, obviously. They don't. But what you have to understand is when you get involved in coke taking and crack smoking and these lives there, at the time, more than likely, you don't have a very high moral compass either. You're all in the pigsty together. So just looking at the cameraman and almost absolving KELL Brook from the shocking video we saw is dumb. And I'm not here saying KELL Brook is the worst person in the world. I'm not. But this is a man who got stabbed under mysterious circumstances that he himself wasn't obligated to explain, but didn't explain. And it's not the first time he's been stabbed. Bad stuff can happen to any of us, right? I've had people steal money from out of my house. Now, in hindsight, there's certain characteristics about them that I knew, and stuff that I actually knew about them, what I heard. I shouldn't have had them in my house. But it wasn't like I left them in the room alone and I left a trail and a map to tell them, yo, if you switch on that light switch there, it's going to make a buzzing sound to tell you to go switch that plug on in the corner, and then the chest of drawers will open and a message will be there saying, if you go into the bottom drawer, you'll find £20. No. They came looking to steal from me. And if they didn't steal from me that day, they would have tried to steal from somebody else. This isn't what happened to KELL Brook. I didn't see KELL saying, turn the camera off, and they just continued. Which could indicate that this wasn't the first time that cameras were used to record some of the stuff that was happening in his house, whatever was going on in there. And maybe the person holding the film is in a bit of a financial bind, and they thought to themselves, yo, fuck KELL, I need the money. Or maybe they fell out. Back in the day, Frank Bruno had his meltdown. And I always remember a lot of people talking about, oh, it's all the friends he's got involved with. Well, he's part of them friends. He's part of that group. Just because he's famous doesn't separate him from the same struggles and from having the same character flaws that they do. Let KELL own it. I'm not saying I want anything bad happen to KELL. No, I hope he can work it out. But let him own it. Because if he doesn't own it, there's no way he gets over this current crisis. That's if the photo was taken recently. I thought it was taken in 2014. They're saying it's a recent photo. But he needs to own this if he's ever to get past this phase of his life. Like, you know, Frank Bruno was taking whatever he was taking. KELL's taking whatever he was taking. But they're all in it together. They're all enablers. And let me tell you this now. Some of you who tried to pass off the blame on the guy who videoed the KELL Brook video, you're enablers. Because what did I hear online? Oh, there's nothing wrong with taking a couple of lines here and there. There's nothing wrong with taking a couple of lines. Really? Do you know how much damage that substance there, even before it was converted into rock, has done to communities? I lived in a community where that, listen, let's not go into it, man. You're talking absolute nonsense. That's totally irresponsible to say in front of young people, for a start. Let's just start there, but we'll finish it here.
Listen, it's not about what B-Ball's willing to do. You tip your hat to him for saying, I'll go to 68-75. What I'm saying is CANELO.
Yeah, no, I get it.
You shouldn't want it no other way.
I agree.
And what I've said his whole career, man, this is the guy that has a lot of skill and ability, but you won't know how great he is because when it's time to take big risks, there's always an advantage. There's always a way because of his star power where you can pick and choose, decide how, when, where. That's cool to a point. But when you talk about legacy, man, you got to get it the same way you went after it. You should. It's not about B-Ball agreeing or not agreeing. It's about what do you agree to, Canelo? Do you want it at 65 or 78? You
you're being a little unfair.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
We have been at the same.
Look, he took a risk.
Listen, we've been.
That's enough. That's enough. Look, Chad Dawson challenged Andre Ward when he was a 175-pound champion to fight Andre at 168-pound when Ward had a few titles there. Andre accepted. Now, Chad made a challenge. A lot of people will say, well, Ward, you beat a depleted Chad Dawson. I didn't say that. Chad said he could make the weight and he could beat Andre at that weight. Fair enough. It is what it is. I had a lot of people who were actually going at me because I weren't supporting Chad and the depleted argument. He made the challenge and he came up short. It is what it is. But if we're going to go there, Canelo has done nothing different from what Andre Ward has done. Yeah? For whatever reason, Kovalev accepted the rehydration clause. Financial is the reason, obviously. And Canelo beat him. But he did fight Bivol at 175. No rehydration clauses, no nothing. No catch weight, no nothing. And he came up short. And if Bivol accepts a fight with Canelo at 168, that will be because, just like, for whatever reason, Chad thought he could beat Andre at 68, Bivol believes he can beat Canelo at 68. Bivol's been saying for a while he can fight at 68. Now, when the decision to fight Andre Ward at 168 blew up in Chad's face, he switched up and said it was a HBO setup, conveniently forgetting that he called out Andre post-fight. It's like Kovalev after he lost to Canelo. He knew he couldn't win. Turn around too quick from his last fight. But like Mike Coppinger pointed out, he claimed he overtrained for the Eleda Alvarez fight, blamed low blows for losing to Andre Ward. First fight with Ward, ran out of gas and the judges. He always has excuses. Staying with the Canelo-Kovalev fight, there was a lot of people saying it wasn't fair after Kovalev lost. And, you know, like, then people are entitled to have their opinion, no doubt. But I just don't like people who just don't let grown-ups own their decisions when they go bad. You got all these excuses. It's no excuses. You went there and got beat up. I mean, I could have told you that you're not going to be at your optimum with a rehydration clause. I could have told Kovalev that. But you signed up for this.
32.26 pay-per-view price point for Mayweather against Aaron Chalmers in the UK. Your thoughts?
No. Speechless.
So we're dealing with the Floyd Mayweather numbers in the UK. He done 1,150,000 pay-per-view buys against Ricky Hatton. And that's astronomical for a fight that's broadcasting in America at 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's what numbers he done on Sky, 2007. And obviously Ricky Hatton's popularity contributed to that huge total. And then 2015, Manny Pacquiao, he done 870,000. In hindsight, if Mayweather Hatton had took place in the United Kingdom, how much views would that have done? They would have cracked the 2 million mark, which nobody's done yet in the UK. But it's 2023, and Floyd thinks he can sell exhibitions in the UK, probably on the strength of his success in the past in the UK. He thinks that audience is going to turn up to watch him fight some guy named Chalmers, who was on Geordie Shore or something, and has a 1-fight record in boxing, which was a losing fight, and he's dabbled in MMA. Floyd wants to charge $32.95. The audacity of this man, but that's how he's been so successful, because he's very audacious. Eddie Hearn said, I'm speechless. I'm not speechless. And perhaps if he had done it on Misfits on DAZN, with Cali and KSI fronting some of the promotion, because his last exhibition was on DAZN, wasn't it? Or if he had done it with Frank or on Sky, more established platforms for pay-per-view, then he'd have a chance of succeeding. But with this Zeus network, the numbers are going to be reliant on how popular this Geordie Shore character is, Chalmers. I don't watch that program, so maybe the viewers will turn up if it's very popular. I don't know. My opinion right now is...
Nah, couldn't see it.
Wow. Just that, what was it? Just under 4-minute highlight reel that ESPN provided. Emmanuel Navarrete versus Liam Wilson. Navarrete, 28 years of age, Mexicano, 5'7", 72-inch reach. That's a huge reach for a super featherweight. Huge reach. Liam Wilson, 5'9.5". Super featherweight. These weights are just getting bigger and bigger. 70-inch reach. And Navarrete was down in the 4th. Heavy knockdown. He walked flush onto this left hook and his legs buckled. Wilson followed up and had him down. Couldn't get him out of there. They didn't show the whole of the count on the copy I got of the fight, but there was some controversy whether he made it up before 10, apparently. Or did he get up in time and the referee gave him too long to recover? Navarrete by the 7th got back into it, was landing hard body shots is what I've been reading. I saw the 9th where he landed the overhand right, followed up and finished it. It looked like a thriller by all accounts, FOTY material. Liam Wilson was a substitute for Oscar Valdez, who apparently slipped on a wet floor and hurt his back. And nearly pulled off a big upset. I went to sleep, man. I didn't know this card was on. It looked like a good card. I didn't see enough of the Arnold Barbosa PEDRAZA fight to really give you a commentary. I saw the brief highlights they had, and it looks like PEDRAZA is trying to reinvent himself, at least for this fight at 140, as a come-forward fighter. And it was entertaining. Barbosa landed some very good short punches. He hurt PEDRAZA in the 7th, and he won a narrow decision over 10 rounds to take his record to 28 wins now, 10 knockouts, no defeats, no draws. PEDRAZA, he is 29-5-1 right now. And as usual, he put in a good effort. He always does. He always does. It has to be said. Doesn't always win, but he always puts up a credible performance. Now I'm doing my Irish accent today because this is a huge story. 500 grand, Conor. 500. It's a lot of money. Now I won't do the Irish accent. 500 grand is what Conor McGregor has offered to put up. So Katie Taylor gets to fight Amanda Serrano at Croke Park Stadium. Now the sticking point, according to the Gaelic Athletic Association, was it's going to cost around 500k for security, and Eddie didn't want to pay that. Don't blame him, but this could be a solution. That's a huge, generous offer from Conor McGregor in support of his Irish sister. So the Irish people get a huge event that they've been looking forward to. That's massive. I keep hearing what stars the likes of Wilder and Errol Spence are, and I've heard them support Clarissa Shields, at least verbally. You know, they ain't done nothing for her like this, nothing at all. Not saying they've got the kind of money that Conor has, but they ain't done nothing. I mean, Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall is one of the biggest fights in women's history, and for all that black talk that the boxers, the fans, and, you know, they hold up Al Heyman as the Black Messiah, he didn't even give Clarissa Shields a fight. He didn't even try and get it staged in the UK. What if Hometown Cooking went against her in the UK? Listen, talk is talk. Talk is talk. And I'm not trying to turn it into the Wakandan channel or anything like that. But Conor didn't just talk. He actually backed his Irish sister. You know, Al Heyman couldn't even get 2 African-American welterweights in the ring for the fight a lot of boxing fans wanted to see. He couldn't even do that. So save it, 'cause I ain't trying to hit. White on AJ versus Franklin. I would have been better off losing to Franklin and getting the AJ fight. It's protecting AJ. They know if he loses again, he'll probably jack it in. And a lot of people would be left with limp Bozaks in their hands.
How'd you beat this man?
Oh, it's like this, man. Have you ever taken those pills, the laxative pills? You know, the ones you take, you pop, and you wait for 20 minutes, you go to the toilet, and they go through you? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through this, man.
It's a bit of a weird analogy.
Everybody knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yep. It was a bit of a weird analogy. So was yours, Dillian. Where do Bozaks fit into what you want to say? Now, Eddie did say if Dillian beats Franklin, he'll get the AJ fight. And he's backtracked on that. And look, if I was Dillian or if I was Frank Warren, if I was Deontay Wilder, I'd be saying all the shit they're saying. AJ don't want the fight, why don't he fight? Obviously, Matchroom and DAZN are protecting the investment a little. You know, he doesn't have no straps. He doesn't have no mandatory obligations. 2 losses on the bounce. It's the first fight with Derek James. They have to look at this long term. I mean, look, let's keep it real. If AJ is successful against Jermaine Franklin, he's not going to be looking to fight for the Southern Area title or the British title. He's going to be looking at contenders. He's going to be looking at title belts. People are arguing whether Franklin beat Dillian. Maybe Dillian would have been the easy opponent. Who knows? This is the route they're choosing to take right now. I can understand Dillian's frustration. I can understand it. AJ fought a lot of mandatories, a lot of unifications while he was champion. And I'm not saying, yeah, well, he's earned the right to cherry pick a few opponents. I'm not going to go that far. But I understand the course they're taking. I do understand it. I mean, he's talking about fighting Fury and Wilder later on this year. And, you know, a lot of people can say he doesn't really mean it. I'm all argued out, people. You believe what you want to believe. So, AJ wants all the smoke, as far as I'm concerned. As far as you're concerned, he doesn't, but as far as I'm concerned, he does. And as far as the Joshua Franklin fight on pay-per-view debate, I've done a poll on Twitter. 199 votes. It's a fair number, considering how much people following me. And yo, it's a resounding 72.4% saying no, it's not pay-per-view worthy. 27.6% said yes.